Welcome to the Silas Barimah podcast, where we discuss science, history, religion, technology, and the fate of the human species.
We are living in a time where almost everybody is speaking of hardships in the world. The economy is bad, the market is crashing, diseases, the education system doesn't seem to match to the worth that we place on it, and people are not getting their money's worth from the system. And there's no job, unemployment, and a whole lot of bullshit. Well, in as much as this stands to be true, that the country, the world in a whole, has become a very difficult place to stay in, what are some of the solutions that we as a country could come to? Well, now everybody is saying that the youth should venture into entrepreneurship. But then where to get the capital from to start a business is a problem. And even if, they're bold enough to say they want to start a business from the little points, from their baby stages to probably the grandfather stages, like despise groups of companies and all, everybody knows that there is a long road ahead. I'm not saying it's not possible to do that and then get to what you want. It's highly possible, despite have done it, and it's worked really well. A lot of people in the country have done it, and they've come up very, very well. But then, for the most successful people in the country, apart from those in governmental positions and all, there's a common denominator to almost every single person in the country that has made it, that has been successful, and then there has been a trending and a paramount change in the ways of life of people in the country. It's not necessarily the education or the height of the education. It's doing the little with what they have. So, with this, wanting to make a big, a grand breakthrough in the education system, affecting the youth and the country, promoting development and entrepreneurship among the youth and almost everybody, there is a need, I think, for there to be a big change in the education system, because the number of people that graduate from basic schools or the universities or colleges is very high. But then we are not seeing the change this class of graduates are impressing on the country as a whole. Where is the mistake? Where is the flaw? Where is the problem that needs to be solved? Because it would be a big lie to say that these people that graduate are dumb and they don't know what they're about and blah, blah, blah and all that. I mean, they were given a certificate of completion of a particular course in university, psychology departments, engineering, medicine, humanities, all those wonderful courses. But then there is no fruit to show for this mass graduation of students from the universities and the basic schools or wherever in the country. Everybody is speaking of hardships. Almost everybody is speaking of unemployment. And people are finding their own ways. Robbery, scamming, juju, money, sakawa, and all this stuff. It's not necessarily their fault. And it's not necessarily the government's fault. But then it's a collective effort on both sides to rectify a problem. And almost these two halves, I think, are not necessarily seeing or handling the problem head on. The government sectors are playing politics with the education system, making it seem like everything is being cozy and fine, when in actuality, almost everything isn't cozy and fine. Just for votes and for trending, well, they will put up something which, in their respect, is essential. Is important to the state that a country would get into in the areas of development. And this effect is insane after these students do graduate schools and come out into the real world. So what then is the problem? Then is the solution to make a big change in the world, in the country as it is today. In a country, almost every student is given the opportunity to render services to the country after they've graduated university. But what if this opportunity is given to every student once they are able to graduate their basic school level? Yes, at the current state, of the curriculum of the basic school level, it won't count to put at this solution, though for some specifics, it may be feasible, it may work. Well, if you want this to be if you want to try this out, then there'll be the need to change, as it is, the education system from the ground up. The basic school level needs changing, and how we would help the youth to have a bigger impact on the country for development. The case is, before someone is supposed to step into the world, the person doesn't necessarily need to feel the need for readiness. The person can't ever be real for the real world. Nobody can be ready for the real world by just reading and studying of books. What's the best way to put things to make sure that at least at whichever level they can be at least 50% sure of themselves enough to step into the real world and make a change? At least at the basic level, when they're given the opportunities to study things about the real world, not just concerning memorization of theories and all this stuff, which though are important, being taught practical things, applicatory things to work and study with firms, with companies, with institutions, and then gain a full grasp of what they've studied in their lives prior. This makes them much more ready that if they should step into any other education fields to study higher, becomes much more easy. Why? Well, listen, because they've had a firm understanding of what they have studied and pursuing deeper levels of what they have studied and what they have done in the real world. And this creates the real geniuses. Listen, if a child is being given a training from their childhood times for long periods of time, at a point in their lives, when they gain consciousness, that kind of training stays with them for as long as they can remember. Why can't we should use the same strategy to make a big change in our world today, in our country today, to help the plight of the mothers and fathers who are pouring money into their kids in schools to finish and not get work to do and come back staying at home and squandering their moms and dads' monies. I mean, think about it. Why should you wait till you are graduating university before you can think of yourself as someone ready for the world and someone ready to tackle the world's problems? At that time, most people have grown, and even if they should have visions, ideas in their minds for their lives, at a point, they begin to dial down, settle, and just try to get into institutions to work with and think about making a living out of that for the rest of their lives. But then, is this what we should be teaching our children? Is this what they should be thinking about? Go to school, learn hard, get the grades, it's all good, graduate, find a job, you're done. Look for somebody the rest of your life. I mean, it's not a bad idea in its sense. That way, it's stifling a lot of talents that we should have playing solo on the field, resolving problems that don't have real effects near in the future, and even the ones that will stifle us and fuck us to our deaths. The education system could be structured to make sure that the basic school living certificate is enough to get us into the real world and make a change. Or think about it like this. The government could make sure that these people, when they graduate schools, are sent into these firms to work as a service to the country. And trust you me, if they get in there and then they're doing that and at least are getting some pay, there comes a point where they begin to develop some sort of passion for whatever they do. Even if they don't develop a sort of passion, they develop this form of ingenuity and technicality in that field. And then if they should come out, gain a higher education from there, oh my God, they become way better. Even if they try to settle and be like, oh, I want to stay here and continue my life's journey, they will be able to make it. If they want to stop, they can stop. Work something new. I mean, listen, if somebody wants to start a business, become an entrepreneur, they can't only do so by watching videos on the internet every single time of people who've done it and have made it, or listening to speeches from very great people who've also made it. They need to get in contact with these people, not only through the media and all the stuff, though it does work, but then its effect isn't going to be as much as having the person work under a great institution and with their curiosity be able to climb up, ask questions, and then analyze things by their own selves to make a future for themselves, to become entrepreneurs and to become business owners of their own. This is what the country, I believe, should be striving for. And I believe this solution would be able to solve a lot of problems that we are facing today in our world. Robbery and all that. Because if I'm working and you're working, and almost everybody is in a very better place, a very better standing, and at least gaining needs money, then where would the Sakawa guys come in? Where would the scamming come in? Everybody necessarily is not going to be content. Maybe I believe this is a stepping stone to a world without war and bloodshed. At least everybody is making it. But at least for the next generation, there's going to be a big change. There's going to be something that we can look back on and be like, oh, we are so happy we implemented this policy. We are so happy we made this a reality. We are so happy we let the youth into the world much earlier than we thought they should. We are so happy we gave them the room to speak. We are so happy we trained them experientially to take up the mantle after the elderly is gone. This country needs to make changes. And for me, I think the education system is one where we should start from. Then we can begin to tackle almost every other problem that we might be having.
Thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to subscribe and share with friends and family. Have a wonderful day.